Welcome back, folks. Yesterday's player picks, we hit 4 wins and 3 losses, securing a small profit. Not our best day, but certainly not our worst. So let's dive right into today's action. First up, we have the fixture between the Mavericks and the Raptors. The line for under 240.5 game total has hit in 4 out of 5 matchups between the two. From a spread and money line, I would be favoring the Mavericks, if anything, but it's basically a 50-50 going off of matchups. Dallas has the better recent form, yet it's only slight. For the team totals, the Mavericks have stayed under their line in all 5 matchups, while the Raptors also have strong understats. They have stayed under in 80% of the matchups. We strongly suggest the under for team totals in this match. For our only player pick in this game, we have gone with Emmanuel Quickley to stay under 20.5 points. He has a season coverage of 77%, staying under in 41 out of his 53 games. His last 5 is at a 60% cover rate, while his matchups are at 75% coverage, averaging only 11.8 over the matchups. Knowing Quickley, he could pass this in a single quarter of the game. For me, it's worth a shot. Now on the Pelicans and Pacers game. Going off matchups again with this one, it's looking like a 50-50. We are expecting a Pacers to win, but without the stats backing up this decision, we would leave money line and spread bets alone. The game total line at 239 has stayed under in 3 of the 4 matchups, but recent games have flown over the line numerous times. For the team totals, like the last game, these markets are almost 50-50, so we have no interest. You do have the Pacers staying under their line 75% of the 4 matchups, but it's not a bet I'd be willing to take. Now for the player pick. First up, I'd like to start by saying I already see this being a bad bet. Either way, we have taken it, so I will present it to you. We have gone with Bennedict Mathurin to stay under 16.5 points. His season hit rate is 72%, his last 5 looks good at 80% coverage, and his matchups are a solid 2-2. Now let me tell you why I think it's a bad bet. His last game out, he hit 30-plus points. I know he rarely goes over, but when he does, he almost doubles the line we are taking. Yes, he has a weak matchup today, so this could easily go either way. Will he take advantage of a poor team, or will his minutes be minimized? We are hoping for the latter. Next up, we are looking at the game between the Cavaliers and the Bulls. For the spread, again, we almost have a 50-50 from a matchups perspective, with the Cavs edging this one slightly. Cavaliers' money line has hit an 8 out of the 11 matchups, maybe one to consider. The game total at 219 has also stayed under in the same amount of matchups. We may consider adding the 2 to a double if we don't find any better opportunities. For the team's totals market, the under for both teams is looking by far the strongest. The Bulls have stayed under their line in 9 of the 11 matchups, while the Cavs have stayed under in 8 of the matchups. Our player pick for this one is Coby White under 26.5 points and rebounds. His season coverage is not the best, only hitting in 34 out of 58 games. His last 5 is better, as he is staying under in 4 of the last 5 games. For his head-to-heads, he is covered in 9 of 10 games, but a worthy note is that in his latest matchup he hit over 30+. We took the risk anyway. Now for the game between the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, if you're interested in betting the spread market, we would maybe suggest staying with the Grizzlies at +12. It's covered in 12 out of 17 matchups. For me, the over 213 game total looks appealing, as it's hit in 14 of the 17 games between the two. This is definitely one to consider, as it also has a habit of covering in recent form too. For the team totals, the Grizzlies have smashed past their updated line of 98.5 points. It's covered in a whopping 15 out of 17 matchups. Timberwolves, on the other hand, have a 50-50 chance at their line. Ziaire Williams to stay under 5.5 rebounds and assists is our pick for this game. It sounds low, but looking at the stats, he has stayed under in 29 of his 48 games. His last 5 games are close, but it's still at a 60% cover rate. In all 13 of his matchups, he has stayed under this line. Let's dive into the Kings versus Nuggets. The Kings have managed to cover the spread of +7.5 70% of the time when facing Denver. With Denver winning 60% of the matchups, it all depends on how wide of a gap the Nuggets can manage. The game total sits at an exact 50-50 chance, so we are more than happy to stay clear. The team totals are a little off in my opinion. Denver has hit under in 70% of the 10 matchups, while the Kings at 60%. Again, the unders are looking a stronger bet. but for me, not strong enough. We couldn't find any player props from this game, so on to the next. Our last game involves the Lakers and the Clippers. The Clippers' money line looks solid, covering in 9 of the 11 matchups. I'm not liking the look of the game totals as the bookmakers have used a line that is almost even. We will be leaving this one alone. For the ream totals, I would only consider the Lakers to go under their line, as it's covered in 9 of the 11 matchups. This game, our player pick is Norman Powell under 22.5 points and rebounds. I believe this line is high due to his last few performances. He has stayed under in 47 of his 55 games. His last 5 has covered 60% of the time. However, in his last 3 games, he has gone over in 2 of them and come very close the other. His head-to-head game sits at a steady 70% coverage, although his last matchup also came pretty close to the line. As you navigate through the upcoming basketball matchups, consider these insights as you explore potential bets. Remember, sports predictions inherently involve uncertainties, so always exercise your judgment and consider additional factors. Whether you choose to follow these suggestions or not, may your basketball viewing experience be filled with excitement and the thrill of the game. Best of luck with your wagers and enjoy the action on the court.